Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, employee engagement is becoming more and more important in the corporate sphere, but why is such emphasis being placed on it, and what benefits can it deliver? Dara O'Leary from Sunshyne Coaching joins us now to tell us more. Dara, before we discuss employee engagement and the practical ways in which businesses can achieve it, I'd like to get an insight into your own career journey.
Good morning, Karl. Thank you so much. Delighted to be here. Okay, so I've worked in HR for over 20 years now. I'm a Wexford lady myself, but I did start out working in AIB Bank Centre in Dublin in 1999. And I would have worked in various different areas, so from recruitment, learning and development, and then moved into a general HR business partner role. So I worked there for 13 years, and then I moved to a startup called HR Duo. I was number one employee, so it was interesting times. But again, it was a really great learning experience because, you know, it was so much of a variety of SMEs and industries. And also, I suppose there I learned about a lot of the pain points for SMEs. And I was very lucky in that an opportunity came up in, well, it's distilled, but it's the three brands, well-known brands of Done Deal, Daft and Adverts. So I joined there in 2017 and worked there as a permanent full-time employee for 5 years, which again was great. Worked with fantastic people, agile environment, variety, innovation, really fantastic place to work.
So why did you then decide to set up Sunshyne Coaching, and what services do you provide?
Like many others during the pandemic, there was a lot of time to kind of pause and reflect and think about life and what I wanted for my future. And I was studying to become an accredited coach. And part of that was that I had to be a coachee essentially and do sessions. And I found that really helpful and insightful. And I suppose the big learning point for me was that really, you know, the only limit is yourself in life, you know, as to what you want to go for and aim for. And I was the only person stopping me doing that, really. Unfortunately, we lost my dad, so my personal circumstances changed as well. And I think the combination of that coaching experience and my own circumstances and reflection, and I suppose, shouldn't be saying this publicly, but I'll be 50 in June. And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So,
and how has it been? You're in business now over 6 months at this stage, so how has that journey been to date?
It's actually been really, really amazing. You know, like people have been so supportive, different business owners giving advice, the people I've met through different, you know, avenues like the County Wexford Chamber, the Rotary Club, the Network Ireland Wexford branch for women in business. I just met some really fantastic people, and that has helped me to get established. And also, you know, Samantha Kelly, the tweeting goddess, has also been highly supportive. And she always says, people buy from people. And that's absolutely what it is. It's all about establishing relationships and working from there.
As Grant Cardone says, contacts turn into contracts. There's no doubt about that. Now,
exactly.
You have joined us on this morning's Business Matters to discuss the topic of employee engagement.
Yeah.
Now, is employee engagement a real issue in Irish businesses? And if so, why?
Well, I think it is, because there's so many different aspects to it that you need to look at. And I suppose if you're not looking at employee engagement, then you will have issues, because you're not, you know, talking to your employees, you're not getting their feedback, you're not uncovering what are the real issues that you may be unaware of, you're not looking at that data and insight from that feedback, and then looking at ways to improve and move forward. And look, employee engagement, it can be something very small that upsets people. You know, it could be something as simple as there's never any coffee in the office first thing in the morning, you know, or it could be something a lot larger. It could be around, you know, the way people connect or collaborate, work together, the culture of the company. It's really an area that needs. I think it should be a top priority, and a lot of reports and studies have said that as well.
You mentioned it earlier, and it's a word we often hear about, and that's culture, a positive work culture within an organisation. But Dara, what factors actually contribute to creating this?
Well, there's so many different factors, but I mean, the key ones I would say are communication. So, open and transparent communication is key. And the reason it's key is around building trust and ensuring, that everybody is aligned. Then you have the opportunity of regular feedback and opportunity for people to, voice their concerns or raise issues that they feel need to be addressed. Recognition and appreciation is another one. And it's not just about your base salary or your remuneration package. There's so many other ways that are important to people. Then there's teamwork and collaboration. So, that's how you build relationships between each other working as employees, and getting to know, developing, maintaining and having really positive relationships there.
So, Dara, 50% of our skills are out of date every 5 years because of advancements in technology and everything else.
Yeah.
It's never been as important for businesses to keep the saw sharp in respect of lifelong learning for their own staff. In relation to learning and development, what should employers be doing to be proactive in this regard?
So I think, look, you need to look at what are the current learning needs of your workforce, but you also need to be looking at the future as well. So in terms of technologies, advancements, what's coming down the line, how can your current workforce or employees be best placed to be able to meet the needs of the future? It's around really, I would say, a growth mindset. So having a culture of a growth mindset where you're looking at individuals, looking at developing them, looking at opportunities, essentially having a career path. So where will there be opportunities for them in the future to be promoted, or maybe it's a lateral move and learning a different skill set. But it's always looking externally to see what's going on and how can you in an organisation ensure that your employees are up to date with what's going on and that they get those opportunities to develop and grow.
And on the topic of productivity, finally, what case study examples can you point to?
Yeah, so the example I would give is Distilled. So as I mentioned earlier, I was a permanent full-time employee there for just about 5 years. And then when I decided to go out my own, and they asked me to stay on 1 day a week on a HR consultancy basis. So Distilled, more kind of known as Done Deal Daft and Advert really, have done a lot of work here. Like it's been a 6-year journey at this stage. So they started off as like really 4 individual brands, different cultures, different technology, and trying to bring all of that together. And employee engagement was a major part of how that has improved over time. Coming to the stage now where essentially, it's a high-performing culture and growth mindset and in a really good place now. So what did they do? Well, invested in growth and development of the people managers, listened to what everybody had to say. So we would have quarterly or twice a year culture amp surveys, and then the Great Place to Work we do as well, and listening and acting on the feedback from that. There was also a project done around the employee brand, which was, separate to the kind of consumer brands. So it's around the employee value proposition. And that was based on working groups and input from employees who put that together. Then making a commitment to everybody that we are, we want to improve the company. We've listened to what you've said, and here are the areas we're going to focus on. 2017, I think we were like 24th placed in medium-sized companies in the Great Places to Work. And based on doing the recurring surveys, getting the feedback, working with everybody and acting on it. We got to second place the year before last, and now we are number one medium-sized employee in Ireland.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Dara O'Leary from Sunshyne Coaching, and I'm sure that Dara has provided plenty of food for thought for employers right across the region.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast